Okay guys, you got problems? Don't worry, we've all got problems. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I hope you are doing well. Firstly, I want to say thank you guys for interacting with this content, with this channel, to see the growth, to see the community like coming out. Can we just clap for ourselves? We are about to be rich and successful. We're all about to deal with our problems together. I love you guys. We're in this, okay? We're the next generations of Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerbergs with style and flair, aren't we, darlings? Aren't we? Like this video if you're part of that gang. But today I thought I would do another Your Dilemmas video because, as I mentioned in the beginning, we've all got problems and let's try and resolve them together, whether they are financial, whether they are emotional, whether they are to do with a bunch of other things. We've all got them, okay? Let's not all be all fur coat and no knickers people out here. Let's not hide our dirt and pretend like we don't have any. We do. We've got a lot of dirt under the covers. And today's video is sponsored by our partner Remitly. Remitly is a digital remittance service that is proud to be able to transfer your money safely across the world. But more on that in a second. So for today's dilemmas, I thought we would focus a little bit on friends and family, because we can't lie, sometimes our families can be our worst enemies, the one we love the most, and the ones that are either making us go broke or make more money. We've all got them, and sometimes you gotta love or hate them, but they are there. They are there. Okay, so let us tackle dilemma number one. Hi Patricia, I'd like some advice please. My dad passed away and left me some money, about 250,000. Whoa. Which was totally unexpected. He was an alcoholic, so our relationship wasn't great because he got abusive when drunk. He's getting deep. Anyway, he worked hard all of his life, coming from a council estate and no money. I don't actually know what to do with it. I don't want to dwindle it away, and I don't know how to invest, and I don't want to it up, basically. I've done some bits to my garden and spent some, obviously, lol, but maybe you have some good advice for me. Thanks in advance. Well, firstly, I want to say my condolences, and I'm sorry for your loss and the loss of your father, and also from the issues that you sound like you've had with him. Having a parent with an addiction problem, I can imagine, cannot be easy and does cause some tears, but maybe, you know, his dying wish was to leave something for you, which is valuable, but I'm sure you wanted him more as a father, but we're not going to go into that. What we are going to do is go into the 250,000 that he left from you as an inheritance. Shocking. Well, so first thing you want to take into consideration inheritance tax. Yes, if you guys don't know that if you receive over £320,000 as a gift or from a family member who passes away, the government gonna eat into that money. They've eaten into that person's taxes for their whole living, and then even in death they still want some of the money. You gotta love the government. But because your amount is under the 325,000 threshold, you will not be due to pay inheritance tax on that amount of money, which is great. Number one, a great thing, so the taxman isn't gonna come after you. Number two, of course, enjoy some of that money, spend it on the home, spend it on a holiday, spend it on an experience, spending it on doing your garden, but don't go crazy. 250,000 could actually, as you mentioned, you live on a council estate or you're from a council estate, could actually help bring you, and potentially if you have a family, some long-term wealth. This is like winning the lottery. I'd also say beware of the vultures. This sounds really bad, but there will be people who are circling who will maybe know that you have some money and ask for it. And if you're a generous person, you could end up with not very much. And once the money is gone, a lot of those vultures end up disappearing. It has happened time and time again, and you do want to be careful. Don't tell too many people about your inheritance. There are a lot of studies that show that people who win the lottery end up being broke or bankrupt in the long run. A sudden windfall of money needs to be treated with caution. I think people sometimes think that money is a bottomless pit, and it is not. It literally can burn a hole through your hand and your floor and everything else, and there can be zero left. So number one, I would suggest if you want a home, it could be time to get a home, but only buy a home if you are able to afford a mortgage, if you are able to pay back your repayments, and get a home that is cut according to your cloth if you don't already have a home. It could be a great way to pay down a home if you do have a home already, because one of the best ways to have additional income and long-term wealth is to have no mortgage, is to have no expenses in the long run. So if you already have a home, definitely pay down your mortgage, because that increases the amount of wealth you have on a daily basis. If you have any debts, this is a great time to pay any high interest rate debts that are out there. So credit cards or anything like that that is eating into your regular wealth. Cut it. It's time for it to go. You can afford to pay it off. Yes, your money is going to look lower right now, but in the long run, you're benefiting yourself a lot better. I would then consider looking at life insurance as well. I think that someone else mentioned this to me, that their father died and didn't have life insurance, and it had an impact on their whole family for a really long time. So if you have this cash and you have some assets, it's worthwhile looking into your life insurance options to protect yourself, to protect your family in the long run, and also protect your money. And if you aren't able to work any longer, you know that you are safe and comfortable. Life insurance is something that people don't really consider too much. And back in the day, the only thing I knew about life insurance was when supposedly J-Lo insured her butt for $1 million. I was like, why the hell would anyone do that? But I get it, that butt makes money. And then you do want to look at investing. And I think what you do want to look at investing in is very cautiously. Anybody who's telling you, oh, give me your money, I'll invest it, I'll turn it over, I'll make it make more, just no. Just no. I think you should really look at investing into index funds and looking at dividend investing options, so that you can put your money into an index which basically tracks the market, and it is nice and safe and simple. And the goal is just to leave your money in there, let it pay a residual income, and let that wealth build over time. And of course, put some money down for rainy days and emergencies. This is an essential part of having a good financial plan. Okay, so that is dilemma numero 1. I hope I've answered your question. I really want to save money and build for my future, but I also have family back home who need financial support from me. I do want to support them, but I'm finding it really hard. Do you have any advice? So I myself, I'm from an immigrant background. I'm Nigerian. Shout out to the Nigerians. I send money back home as well, and I feel your pain. My mum did it, and uncles and aunties do it, so I get it. I do think it's really important to understand to prioritize yourself, because if you can't look after yourself here and you can't get your house in order here, eventually this house is going to crumble, and it's going to crumble over there. So you do need to make sure that you're managing your income, reducing your expenses, and paying off any debt and not making any silly mistakes, and then allocating a set amount that you want to save. I know that people might make additional requests, like there's a wedding, there's a funeral, there's a party, someone needs college, somebody needs this. The requests can be overwhelming, but you do need to sometimes set a certain amount that you're willing to commit and that you're able to send over to help you reach your goals of helping the people who are abroad, as well as your goals here. But also, what you want to do is make sure the money that you're sending abroad is getting there, and getting there safely. And this is where I can mention my sponsors, Remitly. So as I mentioned, I have a sister who lives in Nigeria. She has 4 boys, and I do love to send money over for Christmas, special occasions, and if they need anything, I'm the auntie who wants to spoil them as well. And one of the things that's really important to me is to be able for them to get their money fast, to get their money safely, and not pay too many fees. What I really love about Remitly is that it is a digital service. It's great money transfer, it's really safe, it's really fast, and it's really transparent with very low fees. And I know my money is safe. I don't know if you guys have ever been scammed before. I have been scammed before, and sending money particularly to Nigeria or to Africa or to India or wherever you are in the world, it can be a little bit hit or miss. So having services such as Remitly is essential to make sure that the money that you're working for here is getting back home effectively. What I love is how fast it is. Like my nephews, they text me, and my sister might text me and say, oh, my nephews, they want a new football. One of my nephews is really into coding. And so I can just send some money over for them to get some of the stuff that they need very safely and very quickly. Bada bing, bada boop. It's done, it's safe. I receive text messages, I receive emails, and I'm updated on all my notifications as soon as it happens. To add, they also have great fees and FX rates and free transfers for new customers. My money got there within 5 minutes. For you guys, there is a special offer. You can check the link in the description bar below and download the Remitly app. And they're gonna also give you guys a free transfer and promotional FX rate. So you're gonna be able to make some savings there as well. Fundamentally, being able to support yourself and loved ones is really important and is a valuable thing to do. But you do want to think about yourself, set a budget that you want to commit to your loved ones, and make sure that you send it safely via options such as Remitly. Okay, so this one is slightly hard reading, and I know that there are a lot of people who have faced this issue as well. My husband's mother used his name when he turned 18 to apply for loans and credit cards. He has terrible credit because of her. And you're meant to love your family. This is a hard one, right? Someone actually using your name to apply for loans is actually fraud, it's fraudulent, and it's illegal. But it's also your mum. You're not gonna report your mum to the police. We ain't doing that out here, are we? It's unfortunate, it's really unfortunate. I would really suggest that him and his mum come to an agreement on how, one, she can pay back some of the debt, pay back some of the credit cards. It might be difficult if she's maybe not the most physically wise. I think that if these debts are quite old, if he's not 18 anymore, I'm presuming you're married now, if these debts are over 10 years old, or for 6 years old, 7 years old, why not look at calling up and seeing if you can get a debt part of the debt just discontinued. Tell them it wasn't my debt, this was a fraudulent activity. I don't know if they would care about that, but you can definitely work on negotiating some terms on sorting out this debt to improve the credit status. Debts that are considered really old, a lot of the time, some of the people who are owed money, they just want some money back at some point in time. It might be worthwhile for your husband to come up with some kind of payment plan or agreement with his mum to then help pay off the existing that is there. If there are no existing debts, I'm presuming his credit is bad just because of his history, well, he can work on building his credit history and improving it. I mentioned this before actually in my last video, but I think if you guys want to see a dedicated video on credit and credit scores, give this video a thumbs up and I'll do it. But there are a few steps that you can do to improve your credit. At this point in time, forget mama. Mama's made the mistakes. The issue that you have to deal with is the credit on your name. So one is to register for the electoral roll. Make sure your paperwork is on lock. Pay off any debts, or try and organize a schedule to pay off debts. If he has any credit cards at the moment, he should keep his credit utilization low and pay consistently. Improving your credit can take time, but it can be done. There are people who've had horrible credit scores who've been able to make amazing credit scores. And parents, don't do this to your children. Honestly, you're setting them up for failure. It's not effective, it's also illegal, and you shouldn't be using your children's information to commit fraud. Don't do it. But children, sometimes, children 18-year-old, I don't know. Sometimes our parents come on hard times, and sometimes you have to work together to support your parents and your family getting out of hard times. So guys, that is it. Your dilemmas, the family edition. I feel like I need a drink right about now, I can't lie. And I think the trauma of all the family issues that I've had have come up, but to be honest, you've got to love them, they love you, we all make mistakes, and you have to work together through them. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, and in the meantime, I'll catch you later. Bye.